Hi everyone. Today Salesforce Development Day 30. We'll see what are we going to learn today. So today's agenda is we'll go through the previous session review and we'll talk about the Apex select list and select options, select options and SelectRadio, select checkbox, iframe, and what is the view state in Visualforce and how do we enable the view state. And once we implement the Visualforce, where should we use the Visualforce and what is the Visualforce tab? And then we'll have a conclusion, quiz, homework, and interview questions. So quickly, what did we learn yesterday?
Apex data table. Data table was page block tables, data list, list views,
Charter field which follows.
Data list, Apex data list, Apex list views. Difference between Apex data table and Apex data block table, page block table.
Right. So today we are going to see most of them are related to the select Visualforce tags. Okay, so the first one which we are going to see Apex select list. Apex select list is used to display the list of options that allows user to select only one value or multiple value at a time. So basically select list is we have this kind of a box, right? So it is similar to the when you go to the select fields to display in Salesforce. So let me go here. We have a select fields to display, right? Not exactly same this one, whatever I'm talking. Now, for example, I'm talking about this one. Okay. So this one, either I can select here multiple or I can select single list. So in order to display the list in the Visualforce page, in order to display the list, the outer box, whatever is there here, if you wanted to display the list of options that allows the user to select only one value or a multiple value at a time. So select list is within the Apex form. So it has to be within the Apex form. And what are the attributes? Attributes are, first one is a multi-select, a Boolean value. This is basically a Boolean value. If you want, by default, it is only one selection. But if you want multiple values should be selected, then it should be multi-select equal to true. And the size, the number of options which you wanted to display here at one time. The number of what, for example, if I have a 10 options here, do I wanted to show 10 options? That means this box became big. So if I want, though I have a 10 options, but I wanted to show only 3 values here. If they wanted to see, they can scroll down this and they can see. So if you want to decide the size of the select list, that means the number of select list options displayed at one time. If you want the size and you can decide like a size equal to 3, 4, then required. Required is if you wanted to make this field as a required field. If you want to display the field as a required field. Now disabled. By default, I want this select list should be there, but it should be disabled. The entire list should be there, but it is disabled. So disabled equal to true means it will make the entire list. It will make the entire list as a disabled along with all the options. So Apex select list, what is going to do? It is going to display the list of the whatever the list is there. So let's go ahead and implement it. So file, new Visualforce page, VF _ select list. Okay. So what I'm going to do is apex colon select list has to be within the list. So basically I'll be implementing a page. So this is my apex colon page. Apex colon page. So within this, we need to define a form, apex colon form. So this is the apex colon form. Now, again, within the apex colon form, I'll be selecting the page block section. So the top one is a page block and this is a page block section. And then we'll have a here the apex colon select list. So within the apex colon form, so apex colon page block. Apex colon page block. And then within the page block, we have a apex colon page block section. Now here I'll be implementing the select list. So select list will be, a box will be created here. Select list, this is the select list. And in this, if I decide a size of anything, then what will happen? The arrow mark, everything will be displayed here. The arrow mark will be displayed. Like this, it will display. So we are going to build a select list. Within this, we will be having a values. How to display values, we'll see later. But this is the frame that I'm going to implement right now. So apex colon page. Yes, apex colon form. Apex colon.
Page block. Page block section.
Okay. Now within this, I'm going to declare a apex colon select list. Now let's save this. Now click on preview. So what happened? It just created one arrow. There is no values there here. There is no values defined. Let's keep the ID. So there is no values, sir. There is no values there. Now this is what we have written. Now within this, we have an option called size equal to 3. And also I'll mention label equal to, let's say I'm going to display the courses. So what happened here? The what are the 3 lines are there? 3 line space it is created. Now this, what it did, it is basically, it is created the outer structure. Select list is created the outer structure. Now how to place a value within the select list? Using this command, using this Visualforce tag, we cannot show the values. What it does, it is just only the outer structure. SelectList is only the outer structure. If I want to display the values, then we have to go another tag called _SelectOption. _SelectOption. What it does, it is basically, it will show the values, whatever the values are defined in the _SelectOption. It will show the values and it try to get the user input by choosing the values. And whatever the select option is there, this is the child of the _select checkbox, SelectRadio, SelectList. There are three components we have: select checkbox, SelectRadio, SelectList. Just now we have seen the SelectList. So select option, select option is a child of a _SelectList. Now, what are the attributes that we have in the select option? One is the item label. The label used to display this option user. So whatever here it is displaying it. So Salesforce is a label name. And item value is the value select to the server if the option is selected by the user. What is that means? For example, here I'm displaying the values Salesforce, Aura, Apex, LWC. I'm displaying like this. Now, whatever the user has chosen this, for example, user has chosen this one. User has chosen the Salesforce. This is, what is this? This is basically a label. That is a label name. Whatever the label is there. Whatever the value you are seeing here, it is called item label. Item label. But whenever the user select, as soon as I select this one, there has to be something attribute which needs to be captured. So as soon as I select it, there is another attribute called item value. So what it does is, based on the user selection, it will capture whatever the value is there, it will capture and send it to the Apex controller. Okay, so these two are important, item label and item value. In case if you wanted to disable, you wanted to show here, but it should be disabled. So if you wanted to disable any specific value, then you can use item disabled equal to true. If it is a true, then it is going to disable this one. So a Boolean value that specify whether the select option component should be disabled, right? So in case if you wanted to disable it, any value, you can select it as a item disabled equal to true. Now, so here we have created the outer structure. Now let's go ahead, implement the Apex select option. Apex select option. So within this, we have a item label and I have item value. Salesforce, let's click on save. Right, it is displaying the one value. Now, if I select another, if I give another option here, let's give you more options. Perfect. So here, Apex, Aura. And development. Item value, I'm just changing the dev. And LWC, and let's take integration, and CPQ. And FSL. Let's save this. Now what is happened here? It is showing me only 3 because at the select list I have given the 3. If I remove this, save, all the values is displaying without the scroll button. All the values are displaying without the scroll button. Now if I say 3, what will happen? The height of the select list will be decreased and it will show only 1 value. Now, for example, if I wanted to select multiple, right now it is only 1 selection. Only I can do either this, or if I go down, only 1, I can select it. Okay, I am holding the shift button to select the other one, but still I cannot select multiple options, multiple values, I cannot select it. So in order to make that option to be available, what we have to use is, we have to use the attribute called multi-select and then true. Let's save now. Select this, hold the shift button. I can select now. I have an option to select multiple outputs. I have an option to select it multiple. If I want to select only 1, I can select it. If I wanted to select multiple also, I can select it. Is that clear? Select list, select options.
Ma'am, what is the difference between label and item label, ma'am?
Label is what value needs to be displayed here. If I say here, label is what is the value needs to be displayed. Value is as soon as the user is selected, then I wanted to capture which one is selected. So this value, it's similar like a label and field label and field API. So whenever we have a field label, whenever you enter the data or whenever you select it, there has to be some value at the back end to pass it to Apex controller, or if you wanted to capture the information. So in that case, we use the item value. Item value always holds the what is the value that is selected by user. If I select Aura, then backend, it will say that AU. Front, it shows the development, but as soon as I select it, backend, it says, okay, user has selected the DEV.
So Swapna, it is compulsory along with the item label, we have to give item value also, right?
Yes, otherwise how you will be able to capture it? Item label is just to show it. But what is the value is selected here? If the, for example, user has selected 2. If you wanted to know what are the users selections are there, who will tell us? This item value is going to tell us.
Okay.
There should be 2 same name, ma'am. Item label and item value, both are same name.
No, it could be different. Like here I can write sales instead of Salesforce.
Okay, okay, ma'am.
So basically, this is the user to see. Label is nothing but what user is seeing. Value is nothing but how the developer will capture whatever the user has entered, user has selected it, how the developer is able to capture using this item value. So item value is for developers, item label is for the users. Any questions in case if you wanted to disable? So for example, integration, I wanted to disable. So we have an option called item disabled equal to true. So this is active, but this one is disabled. I cannot even select. I can select this one, but I cannot select this one. Now, first suppose you want the entire list to be disabled. Entire list to be disabled. So it will just show the information, but entire list. Even with the options, what are the options are there inside that? Everything is disabled. None of them you cannot select it. The complete list will be disabled. Clear? Any questions? So for select list and select option. Option is basically what are the values that I should show. Select option is nothing but what are the values that I need to display here, whether it is a list or radio or checkbox. Whether it is a list or radio or checkbox. Okay, any questions before I move on?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so now in the select option, okay, using the select option, I can declare only one value. That means select option contains only one value or one item label. But for example, instead of repeating these lines, because I'm keep on repeating the select options here. For example, I have 100 values are there. So that means I need to write here 100 times. In order to writing the 100 times, what we can do is we can use the select options. The second one, which is having the after option, there is a S. So we have two things. One is a select option and second one is select options. So options is a collection of a select option. Instead of showing the single value in the each record, so what you can do is you can collect all the values and you can display everything using the select options. So select options also to get the user input, whatever they are choosing the value, whether it is a list or radio or a checkbox. Even select options also we have to, this is a child component of the checkboxes, select radio, select list. Select options is also a child component of select checkboxes, select radio, select list. And it has a collection of values. It has a collection of values. Now select options, if you want to implement a select options, okay, so we have to talk to the server side controller. That means Apex has to be implemented. Apex has to be implemented. So whenever we do the Apex one, that time we will use the select options. For now, I'm not going to go for the practical of select options. So once we learn about the Apex, how to implement everything, that time we will use this options. Instead of an option, I'll use the select options. And the next one is a select radio. So select radio is used to display a set of related radio buttons to get the user input. So for the select radio, we can only select one. We can only select one option. So similarly like this, either I can select this or this or this, right? Now, this is the course. What is happening? It is displaying the radio button. If you are filling any form, so during the filling of the form, you will see the option called, are you married or not? There is some radio buttons here. Or are you, if you are filling the patient form, then they will ask, are you taking any medicines right now? Yes or no? So have you visited before or no? So some options will be there, right? So radio button options, wherever you see, radio button options are always only one we can select. If you take any form, if you take, if there is a radio button option, that means the radio button logic is only at a time we can select only one radio button. Not only in Salesforce, if you take any other in any other forms or anywhere, if you are filling the passport form or any Aadhaar card or anything, if you are filling it, wherever you see the radio option, they will tell you to select only one. So always the radio buttons are only one selection. So the attributes are for the select radio label, a text value that displays here. So here the label is course. Here the label is course. This is label. And the next one is disabled. Disabled is basically, as we are seeing, that in case if you wanted to disable complete radio button, radio options. Layout. Layout is something which will decide how to display the radio button options. How to display the radio options. Which way it should be displayed. So there are two ways we can display it. Possible values are in line direction. Line direction in which radio buttons are placed. Line directions are nothing but, here it will show the Salesforce, after that it will show the development, then it will show the LWC. So in single line, you will see the radio button options. In single line, you will see the radio button options. But in case if you do not want to display in single line, then we have to use the page direction. If it is a page direction, what will happen? This is the page direction in which radio buttons are placed vertically. Line direction is nothing but horizontal. If you wanted to show in horizontal all the radio options, then we have to use the layout equal to line direction. If you want a vertical, then you have to use layout equal to page direction. So however, based on the requirement, however you wanted to display, you can display this information based on the client input. Any questions on the SelectRadio?
Ma'am, select option is also used to select one option, right?
Sorry?
Select option.
Are you talking about select options or option?
Only option.
Option is a single value.
Ma'am, but we are having an attribute called multi-select, you said, right?
That is on the select list. Multi-select is on select list. Select option is only the values. See, whatever you see inside this one, this is a select option. This is select option. And whatever the outer do you see here, this is a select list. So what I am doing is, first I am implementing the select list. Within that, we are giving the values of select options.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Right to what I am doing it, instead of a select list, I am using the select radio. Values are same. Values are same. If you see here, values are same. But instead of a list is nothing but it will show the box here. Instead of a list, what I'm doing it, I'm changing the outer structure. How I'm changing? Instead of using the select list, I'm using the select radio button. But in order to display these values, if you wanted to display within the either SelectList or SelectRadio or SelectOption, we have to use the Apex : SelectOptions. Right? So this one is a SelectList, and these are the one is a SelectOptions. Now, what I'm going to do right now, SelectRadio, for the SelectRadio. So for the SelectRadio, first I'm going to implement a SelectRadio. So as usual, page block section, page, everything will be there. So page block, Apex form, Apex page block section, everything is there. But here, what I'm going to use first, I'm going to use the SelectRadio, Apex : SelectRadio. And within this SelectRadio, what are the values to be displayed? If I wanted to display the values, then I have to use Apex : SelectOption. I have to use Apex : SelectOption. I have to use Apex : SelectOption. What are the values that I wanted to display? So what will happen here? There are 4 options are there. That means output I'll get is first radio button, second radio button, third radio button, fourth radio button. Because I have a 4 values here. So basically the outer will decide only this, how many radio buttons are needed. And what are the values that are needed here, decided by the SelectOptions. SelectOption. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So let's go ahead and implement that. Okay, I'll use the resource. Let me create a new one. File, new Visualforce page, VF_, SelectRadio. So as usual, I use the Apex : form. And then Apex : page block. Apex : page block.
Section.
Okay, so now let's give here some title. Radio buttons. Within this, I'll select Apex : SelectRadio.
Radio.
Now we have an attribute called label. Let's say country. Now let's see. Click on preview. What happened here? By default, it is displaying only one radio button, but there is no value. There is no value here. Why there is no value? Why there is no value?
We did not give any select option.
We have not mentioned any select option. So apex colon, select option. So let's take item label, USA, item value, US. Yes, tell me some countries. What are the countries are there?
India.
India. And
UAE.
Dubai.
UAE. And
Europe.
okay, and
Australia.
so what happened here? By default, it is showing in the horizontal. By default, it is showing the horizontal. Why? Because we have a layout, one of the attribute called layout. Attribute called layout. If I do not mention anything in the layout, so what it will do, it will take horizontal. By default, it will take the horizontal. In case I need a vertical, So what we have to use is page direction. We have to use page direction. If you use page direction, it will be vertical. If you say line direction, it will be horizontal. Or if you don't mention anything also, it will be horizontal. Right now we can select only one option. We can select only one option. So whatever the user is selecting it, this attribute captures the value at the backend. At the backend, it captures the whatever the selection based on the selection. Immediately, this attribute is going to capture whatever the value is there. So value is which one has selected the user. User is selected the UK. Or if I check this backend, it will tell that okay, user has selected the US. It will not give you the label name. It will not give you the label name. Now let's copy this and we'll use it here so that we can see the differences. Right, this is the radio button. So let's use the direction, page direction. Now let's add the page block section on top. Let's say title equal to select list. This is the list, apex colon select list, and this is the radio button. Both have the child component is apex colon select option. Both have apex colon select option. Any questions on the radio button? Any question?
Ma'am, it is mandatory to write both tags in page block section.
Page block session, is it mandatory to write? Okay, it's not mandatory, but why I'm writing here? Let's suppose I'll delete this. Okay, apex page block and apex page block section. I'll remove it. Let's save it. What happened here? It doesn't show the country. Whatever the label is there, it doesn't show. Because right now we are testing it. When you are implementing the form or when you are implementing a Visualforce page, definitely you will be writing the page block section, something you will be writing it, right? So if you directly print this SelectRadio without a page block and page block section, the first thing is that styling will go away. And the second thing is that what is the label? It does not display the label, and it starts from the margin. Whatever is there here, it starts from the margin level. If you wanted to start it from here, right, you cannot, you have to put a styling here. Got it?
Yeah.
So if you want a label names to be displayed, whether it is a field label or if you wanted to display the SelectRadio label or SelectList label, if you wanted to display, have a first format ready and then you start implementing the fields. So that what will happen, how the Salesforce structure is there, it will be displayed in that structure. Okay, any questions on the radio button? Okay. So the attributes, we have seen the label, disabled, layout. So this is what we have seen. And next one is, this is the third one, which is a select checkboxes. So far we have seen the list and then radio. Now we are seeing the checkboxes. Checkboxes is also similar to the list. So select apex colon select checkbox, use this to display the set of related checkbox input element, which is going to expect the user input, which is going to capture the user input. But how it is going to display the different options as a checkbox. As a checkbox, it is going to display. So user can select either one value or multiple value. So this will be selected like this. So instead of a radio button, it will be a checkbox. So this checkbox, you can have a multiple checkboxes. Not only Salesforce, if you are filling the bank form or a loan form or any other form, wherever you are filling the form, whenever you see the checkboxes, that means there is a multi-selection is available. Right? Similarly, Salesforce also, for the checkboxes, multi-selection is available. Now, attributes, these attributes are similar to the whatever we have seen. Label, the text it will display. Here the label is course. And then disabled, if you wanted to disable the specific value or if you wanted to disable the complete, this checkbox. This disabled button is on the parent level. It is not on the child level. It's on the parent level. Select checkboxes. If you say disabled equal to true, that means this entire checkboxes will be disabled. Layout, this is also having the two different layouts. One is a line direction. Second one is a page direction. Line direction is a horizontal. Page direction is a vertical display. Now let's go ahead and see this. Okay, so what I'll do is, here I'll just change the, instead of radio, I'll just change it here, checkbox. Right? Instead of radio, it is simply showing the checkbox. If you say page, perfect. So let's take a different value instead of a country. Let's take a names. Akash, AS, Bharati, EH, Ashrita, A, Sri Lakshmi, SL, Jyoti, JI. Right? So it's a multi-selection. Multi-selection. Now let's take this same thing. Let's apply, let's put it into the previous one. So what I'll do is after the radio button, I'll add this one. After the radio button in the same, right? In the same, it is going to display. So this is a radio buttons hyphen checkboxes. Right? This is the select list. This is the radio button. These are checkboxes. For 3 of them, we are going to use the apex colon select option. So select option is a child component of checkbox. Select option is a child component of radio. Select option is a child component of list. Any questions in this 3?
All 3 have same attributes.
Almost same have, only the difference is radio does not have a multi-select.
Okay.
Everybody, this has a multi-select true and this also has a multi-select true and this is not there.
For radio buttons, we can't select
Yes, it's not.
multiple option.
Yeah.
Ma'am, in SelectList also have a multi-select option, right?
Select list, yes, multi-select attribute is there. But whereas in checkboxes, the attribute is not there. By default, Salesforce made it as a multi-select. I have not given here the multi-select equal to true, but still it allows the checkboxes. Whereas in the select list, if I want the multi-select to be there, then I have to give manually, I have to mention multi-select equal to true in the list. Clear? Before moving on, any questions? Okay. So the next one which we are going to see is iframe. Iframe. So basically apex colon iframe. So we use the apex colon iframe to display the external web resources inside a Visualforce page, or if you wanted to display a Visualforce page within the iframe. What is the iframe here? Iframe is nothing but you have a frame. There is a certain length of the frame. This is the frame. Okay. Your page, this is your page. Some page is there, or this is some external web link. Maybe let's assume that Dreamforce. So we have a Dreamforce page. Now I wanted to fit this Dreamforce page within this iframe. Within this iframe, I wanted to put this entire thing, whatever this entire thing is there, I wanted to put it inside this. Okay, so not only the external web page, right now, whatever we have implemented the Visualforce page for the select list, radio, checkboxes. If I wanted to place it into the iframe, if I wanted to place into the iframe, so I can place it. So there is a frame, outer frame is there. So it's like your photo frame. Within the frame, you are fitting up, fixing the photos, right? So similarly, iframe is a certain height, width will be there. Within that iframe, you are going to put either the external web page or the Visualforce page also, you can place it. Or if you are using any third-party URL, if you want to place inside the iframe, you can place it. So that is basically the iframe. So what it does is it creates a inline frame within a Visualforce page. Inline a frame within the Visualforce page. So the attribute for the iframe, source, the URL that specify the initial contents of the inline frame. And next one is a scrolling. If you want a frame to be scrolled, because sometimes what happens if you use the web resources, the page is very huge. If I have to put it into the iframe, my iframe is only certain height, but I wanted to place all that page content, everything should be there in iframe. So if I wanted to see entire the page, then what we have to do, we have to use the scrolling. Scrolling is a Boolean value. We can specify true or false. If it is a true, that means there will be an inline scrolling will be there for the frame. Only for the frame, the scrolling will be there. And you can declare what is the height, you can declare what is the width will be. So this is as per the client requirement, height and width, you can decide it, or when you are working it to make it beautification, you can use whatever the width, height is there, you can specify it. Okay, so is that clear, iframe? Okay, so what I'll do is basically let me create a new page. File, new Visualforce page. VF underscore iframe. Now, before going to the iframe, I wanted to show you something here. So basically, let's understand whatever we have discussed. For example, what I need is, my requirement is, there should be a link here. Okay, on the page, there should be a link. Click on or click here. Click here to redirect. This is a link. This is a link. So whenever I click on this link, it should redirect to the page, certain page. It should redirect it to a certain page. So how can we implement this one? If I wanted to display this, click here to redirect. I wanted to display here, but back end of this, there is a link is there. So when I click on this, it should redirect it to the page.
We use output link for that one?
Yes, output link. We use output link. So let's take a page, some page. So let's take a trial head. Okay, so let's go back to the page. So we use output link. Apex colon, output link. Yes, what are the commands for this?
URL.
What are the comments for this? I don't have URL.
Value.
Value equal to the link. And let's say here.
And hard-coded web.
Yeah. Click here to redirect. Perfect. So let's click on preview. is coming here. Okay. So when I click on this, it is redirecting the same page. It is redirecting the same page. But I do not want the same page to be displayed here. I want the different page to be displayed. Basically, it should go to the, when I click here, it should open the new tab and it should display the value, the page. Now, when I click on this, it is in the same page, it is redirected, but I don't want the same page to be redirected. When I click this, it should open in the next tab. How should we do that?
Target is equal to blank.
Target equal to blank, yes. So we use target equal to blank. Now, if I use the target equal to blank and if I click on it, what is happening? It is opening in the next tab. And whatever the page is there, that page is still shows and it is opening in the next tab. That is perfect. Now, first, suppose I wanted to show an image. So before this, before click here to redirect, okay, I wanted to show certain image here. Let's assume some image. I wanted to show the image. How can I display the image? How to display the image?
Yes, awesome.
Apex image.
Apex image.
Apex image. So for Apex image, yes. What do I need to do for image?
We can implement as a standard resource, or we can give
Static
So,
resource.
let's go ahead and load some images, or if I have some images, let's take that. Setup. How to go to static resource?
Static resource in quick find.
Yes.
So static resource. So let's click on a new, let's upload some new image. So let's take a Dreamforce. Let's choose it. I have a image too. Let's take it as a private. Let's click on save. Let's see, what is this image? Okay, this is some Dreamforce image. Okay, so I wanted to place that image here before the output link. Okay, now how do I place that?
Value is equal.
Value equals to
Value equals
or
to
bracket
curly
Curly
braces,
braces,
exclamatory,
static resource dot resource name.
Resource.
global resource.
What is our resource name?
Dreamforce. Sorry.
Dream.
Let's save. Perfect. So here it is coming, but beside that it is coming here. Okay, that should be fine. Let's write the code here itself. Okay. Now image is displaying it here. Okay. Now if I wanted to put the click here to redirect below the Dreamforce, what should I need to do?
BR tag.
iframe.
Perfect. Now let's assume that I wanted to display whoever is user is logged into this page. I wanted to display the user details this side. So how can we display the user details?
Apex colon details.
Whoever is logged into this page, I wanted to display the user first name, last name here, and the email.
Global.
How to display the
User
global
dot.
variable?
With the symbol of dollar. Curly braces.
Mhm. Right. So curly braces,
Exclamation.
Exclamation. Dollar. User dot name.
user dot first name,
First name.
user dot last name. Then below, I wanted to display the user dot email. So here it is displaying it. Let's divide it. Okay. So let's say B and say user logged in. And this is the user email. Perfect. Let's place it here, BR. Okay. Now I wanted this user logged in, user email this side, the right side. What should we do on it? So by default, it starts with this margin. Anything it is there, it starts with this margin. And I wanted to display this right side.
In division type, text align.
SS alignment.
Float.
Float right.
Float right. Yeah,
Perfect. Okay. Now we have this information. This is fine. Now we'll come back to the iframe. We'll come back to the iframe. Now we know how the output link is displaying the URL. We know how the image is displaying it. Now what I'm going to do is, right now we have this page, App Exchange page is there. Okay, this is a Salesforce page where we can see all our App Exchange, the page. So this has a huge data. So this has huge data, everything is there, all the App Exchange applications, everything is there. So what I'm going to do is, this entire page, I'm going to fit into the iframe. I'm going to place into the iframe. So what I'll do is, below the outlink, or just let's put it here on the top of the output link, apex colon iframe. Now, what are the attributes we have in the iframe?
SRC scrolling.
SRC equal to, we will keep this. And right now, let's not add the scrolling. Let's see how it is displaying it. Okay. So do you see after this page, immediately it started displaying the entire page. But you see here, there is only this page is too huge. But what I'm seeing here, only top section. I don't see the entire data here. I don't see entire data. Now let's go ahead and add scrolling equal to true. Now there is for the iframe, there is a scrolling has been applied. For the iframe, there is a scrolling has been applied. So app exchange, you see this, the page is showing here. The entire page is showing. Right? After ending this page, then this scrolling will work. Below we have this data. Now, if you wanted to decrease the height and width, you can decrease it. So right now we have, let's assume that, let's decrease the width equal to, let's say 200. Okay, so this is too small. This is too small. Now you can see all the page, the entire page you can see here. Till the whatever the bottom is there. So if you go down, so whatever we have, this is also, it is displaying, the footer part is also displaying there, right? So everything we can display. Now, for example, instead of this, okay, so before that, there are some sites, there are some web URLs which are not supported. There are some web URLs which are restricted. Basically, their privacy, security has been applied it. So whenever you put, for example, I'll take the Dreamforce. Okay, so this Dreamforce, if I'm trying to play this, like if I'm trying to use this in my iframe. So what happened is, it is giving me this issue, refuse to connect, because there are some security or there are some policy or something will be there with this site. They are not allowed to place in anything. And this issue is there with the Salesforce. It doesn't allow all the web pages to display here. Wherever few pages, like an app exchange, which is a public, anybody can access, right? So, and anybody can download the apps and they can do anything here. There are few which has a less security, only those only we can use it. If you use any other restricted, or there is a privacy or security which are applied onto the site, we cannot use it. We will see the refuse to connect. So if you wanted to use any web external URLs, okay, before you using it here in real time, first we need to get a confirmation from this site. Whoever is handling this site, we need to talk to them. So here is the one we are implementing some Visualforce page based on the client requirement. We need access to your page. Your page is restricted. Not everybody can access. So can you open for us? We are working in a Salesforce. So what they will do is they will apply something there. So basically our client and Salesforce will work on it in order to get the URL properly here. Okay, so Salesforce has to do some connection here, or some security or privacy has to be done. But not every page is not allowed. Every page is not allowed in the iframe. Only few external pages which has public access and less security is there. Only those can be accessed in the iframe. Now, so instead of displaying the external page, whatever we have implemented right now, the Visualforce page, I wanted to place that Visualforce page. So you can place that. You can place that page. right? So on top, we have a Dreamforce, and then here we have a Visualforce page. Below it is a click here to redirect. Click here to redirect. This is our iframe. If you decrease the height, let's decrease the height. It's too small. Okay, so here is the scrolling it came. This is for iframe scrolling. This is for iframe scrolling. So this is our iframe. And then bottom is our page. What are the pages that we have implemented? Whatever the page we have implemented. Now quickly, so whatever we have implement, like for example, right now, this is a page. This is my page, right? In the page, whenever I print the user first name and user last name, whenever I print user first name or user last name, what happens? It starts from here, right? It's even start, sometimes it goes exactly attaching to this page. Like this, it will display, right? So what are these basically? What are these? So here, two things are there. Two things. One is margin. This is a margin. Okay. And another one is padding. Another one is padding. Now, sometimes margin, padding, both are at the same line. Both are at the same line. Sometimes what happens is your margin and padding will be touching each other. And sometimes what happens is your padding is your text, or somewhere here you are displaying the enter first name or enter last name. Assume that this is your card. Okay, the card here you are displaying the enter first name. That means your page is starting from here. Your page is starting from here. Your page is not starting from margin. Your page is not starting from the margin. There is a gap between your page and margin. Now inside this, you are building some card, and there you are displaying the enter first name. Assume that first name. Right, you are displaying this first name. And if you wanted to add anything here in between this, right, your page and there is something you wanted to add. Basically, you wanted to pull this first name here. You wanted to pull the first name here. So you need to apply a padding here. So margin is always, it is attaching to the ends. Always it is attaching to the ends. So this is margin left. This is margin left. Like this, we have, this is margin top, and this is margin right, and this is margin bottom. This is, if you wanted to apply, your text is starting exactly touching the margin, and then you wanted to apply some margin top space. So that is a margin top, and this is margin right. And this is margin bottom. Margin bottom. Similarly, we have a padding. Padding is within the margin. Padding is within the margin. Same like a margin top and margin bottom, left, right. Similarly, padding is also has. So this is a padding left. If you want to apply a space inside the page, I mean your between your margin and your actual, what are the logic is there, the apex page, if there is a space between that, and if you wanted to place it, for example, first name, you wanted to add some space left side. So use the padding left, and this side padding right. And this is padding bottom. And this is padding top. Right? So based on wherever you wanted to add a space, for example, in our scenario here, user logged in. See, this .com it is attaching to the margin. It is attaching to the margin this side. So I wanted to pull this side. So what I'll do is basically right click on this, inspect. Okay, again, right click, inspect. Yes, this is the one. So what I'll do is here I'll add margin hyphen, let's say right, and then I'll add something 12 pixel. See, it's moving on. As I'm increasing it, it's moving, because I wanted to add the space between the line, the attaching line to the whatever the text is there, right? If you apply this, what will, if I don't apply it, it is exactly attaching in the corner. But if you don't want the corner, the text should be going in the corner, then based on that, which are the this side, left side or right side, top, bottom, add this margin right, and now I'm added the margin right. Okay. And in case on top, there is, it is starting from no space here. If you wanted to add something, so you can add margin hyphen top, let's say 11 pixel. See, this is not moving, only it will move which are the one you are adding it, which are the one you are adding here. So it is adding the 11 pixel. I have added the 11 pixels so that it is attached, not attaching to the margin. Now, in case if I wanted to change the color of this, so simply what I can do, I can change color of the text. If I wanted to change, for example, blue, violet, so I wanted to attach this. So what I am doing here, basically, I'm applying a style. I am applying a style. So this is while you are doing the user interface, this style part, right click, inspect, and forward that, so that what will happen wherever yours, okay, this is the one. So wherever you, if you wanted to test which style does it work before I implement into the code, if you wanted to see that, better play with here, the styles part. Now what I can do is I can go to the div and I can apply all my, whatever the styles that I have tried it, I can apply it here. Control S. Perfect. Any questions on the iframe, the styling part, anything?
Ma'am, what's the difference between output link and iframe? Just that attributes, that scrolling part.
Output link is basically, it does not show the page here. It does not show the page. Output link does not show the page. It will like a hyperlink. Whereas iframe, it completely shows the page within the iframe. Now here, trial head page is not displaying here. It is just a hyperlink text. Whereas iframe, I'm able to see the I'm able to see the whatever the page I'm calling, whether it is a web URL or a Visualforce page, I'm able to see that page here. I need not to click on anything.
Okay.
Any questions? Before I move on.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
regarding this div,
Hmm.
all the things we can define in style only, right? Here
Yes,
using
either you can
color.
define the style or you can declare here the separate style. Like here, that is a inline style. Whatever this is there, this is an inline style. If you wanted to declare it separately, because if you have wanted to use it separately, you can declare it here.
Okay, like if we want to text, we want to change in different color and the text to be displayed in the center, all we can define in one style attribute only.
Yes.
Okay.
And another thing, okay, so this is day before yesterday, something we have created this data table, right? So like this, you can create a style. Now, initially what we did, we used the Apex style sheet. The style sheet, whichever is there in the static resource. In static resource, we have a style sheet. Here, custom CSS, right? We use
Yes.
this custom CSS in one of the Visualforce page. Now, there are a couple of ways to upload the CSS file. One is you can directly load it, your CSS file here, or else in the developer console, we have an option. If you go to the new, here we have a static resource. Here we have a static resource. Now you can give static resource name. For example, if I give table style, okay, what type of it? Is it a text, CSS, plain text, XML, which are the one you wanted to give? So let's take a text XML, submit. Now, for example, I'll take out this, Control X, place it. What it created, it is actually created the XML. It is not created the CSS. Right? So let's delete this file, new static resource. Instead of the XML, I need a CSS. Submit. File, new static resource. CSS, let's say. Now here I wanted to use mine. And if you wanted to see, here we have uploaded the custom CSS, right? If you wanted to see this custom CSS in the developer console, click on open. Here the static resource, the custom CSS, the one which we have uploaded it, right? This is one we have uploaded directly from the local system to the static resource. So you can also, instead of loading it from the static resource, what you can do is, if you refresh here, you will see. Okay, you will see the tab style, but this is how we did it. We did not click on the new button. I have created it from the developer console. I have created it from the developer console, right? So similarly, we have here the style, you can create it. clear, file, new, static resource. If you wanted to see what are the static resources are there, click on open, click on a static resource. You can see these all are the static resources. Why it is showing the V of select list? Why it is showing the V of select radio? Iframe. Why it is showing that?
We have fitted in that one page, right? Maybe that's right. Not sure.
Open, refresh, gone. Okay, if you see something weird one, just click on the refresh. So we have loaded the CDCA logo in static resource and we have loaded the custom CSS. Just now we have loaded the dream and then the tab style which we created it from here, right? So either you can load directly here, clicking on the new button, you can load it from your local system to Salesforce, or else if you wanted to create your own style directly in the Salesforce, create a file, new, static resource and select it. If you are using it for the style sheet, select the text CSS. Do not use any other. In case if you wanted to write a code related to the JavaScript, select this apex/JavaScript or text/JavaScript. This is another way which we can load the static resource, the CSS, external CSS if you wanted to load it. Any questions?
As of now, we have uploaded, I mean, like we have added through developer console. No? What about the caches? I mean, private, public, we are having that access, right?
That you cannot specify here. You need to specify only in the here.
Default, just I wanted to see default,
Okay.
which it.
So the one which we have created the tab style. So the default it is taking the private. Okay, so that means after doing in the developer console, you have to come here and change that to the public. When you change it, the public, here is the magic. When you change the public, when you click on a save button, what will happen is your file is gone. Because every time when you edit it, you are losing your file here. So right now you have a file. So if I click on this view file, it open up this file. But as soon as I click and if I change to public, click on save. I just changed it to public. I just changed it to public. It is displaying it right now. Okay, it is displaying it. Okay. Before it was not displaying this. It was removing the previous file. Okay, so now it is displaying. Perfect. So you have to change the public from the private.
Yeah, this one.
So this is another way to create a static resource. Any questions on the static resource? Okay, so let's move on. Now the next one is a view state. View state in a Visualforce. What is a view state? View state is basically it holds the state or size of the Visualforce page. It holds the state and size of the Visualforce page. That includes the component, field, values, controller, state, query, everything it will hold it. Whatever we are writing in the page, everything it will hold. Whether it is a component or whether it is a value, controller, SOCL query, if you are doing the Apex controller, if you are calling the Apex controller, and if you are doing any logic in the Apex controller, everything, each and every step, it holds all the information is holds in view state. And basically, it holds whatever the page that we are implementing it. What is the size of the page? What is the size of the page? Because whenever we implement any Visualforce, there is a certain size will be created for that. Okay, so for example, if the size of the particular page exceeds 135 KB, if it crosses 135 KB, then we will see the view state error. On the page, we will see view state error whenever it crosses the 135 KB. 135 KB of the Visualforce page means there is a lot of things are happening in that page. There are a lot of things are happening in that page. Now, how to reduce it in case if I am getting this view state error, how to reduce it? The reducing one is the first one. We have to reduce the number of forms on the page. Sometimes in real time, what we do is we write this Apex form multiple times. Okay, multiple times we write it. Basically, that's how the requirement will come. Sometimes the requirement is very difficult. What we used to do is, it is a long backstory. What we used to do is we used to write a multiple Apex form. If you write a multiple Apex form, the page size gets increased. So you need to reduce the number of forms on the page. Number of forms on the page. And the second one is, do not use the command link command button. Instead of using the command link command button, go ahead and use the output link. Go ahead and use the output link. If your requirement is similar to what the output link is able to do, what are the command link and command button are there, if output link also able to do that kind of a logic, then better use it. But if you think that output link is, I cannot implement whatever is done here, then that's fine. But reduce the number of command lines and reduce the number of command buttons. So why we need to use it? Because when we use the command link and command button, it requires included inside the Apex form. Okay, if you have to write this command link and command button, these two components has to be included within the Apex form. Whereas output link, you can write it anywhere. Without the form also, you can write the output link. But the command button, command link has to be there within the Apex form. And the last one is the number of records. We have not gone through this Salesforce object query language. So sometimes what happens is when you are retrieving the data from Salesforce database, sometimes the retrieval of the data in a single page, as per the standard controller limit is 20 records it is going to display. If it is a custom one, it might display the 1,000 records per page. But if you are displaying a 5,000, 10,000 records per page, then it is going to throw an view state error. It will throw view state error. So you need to reduce the number of records that you are displaying. How you will reduce it? Basically, we have a certain conditions there. There is a where condition that will filter out. There is some null values. So that will filter out. So don't display the null values. Don't display the certain condition value records. If you apply those kind of conditions on while retrieving the data, you can reduce the number of records. So these are the maximum scenarios that happens in the real time Whenever you see the view state error, 3 things you need to check. How many Apex forms are used, and how many command link command buttons are used, and what is the number of records that is displaying per page. The data, not even the record, the data also fine. If you are not displaying, if you are displaying the data, how much data, the number of records, how many you are querying it, how many you are displaying on the single page, whether it is able to handle that much huge data or not. If the single page does not handle the huge data, that means it is exceeding the single page size is more than 135 KB. 135 KB. Now, first of all, how can we enable the view state? How can I see the view state? Where can I see the view state? So go to my personal information, click on the advanced user detail section. There you will see show view state in development mode. If it is enabled, then you can see view state. But view state you can see only when Apex colon form is there in the page, then only you can see the view state. Otherwise, you will not see the view state. So let's go ahead and see that. So in order to go to the my personal information, click on this avatar, click on settings. So what will happen? It will go to the my personal information. Then click on the advanced user details. So once you click on this advanced user details, click on edit. There is an option called show view state in development mode. Show view state in development mode. Development mode means this is the one which we have enabled it. So it will show the view state only in the development mode. Now, let's refresh this. And also let's refresh this. Now, if you observe this, okay, if you observe this, is it showing the view state here? It's not showing the view state. But as soon as I add Apex colon form, Apex colon form, and let's send here Apex colon form, let's say. See, the view state is enabled. This is for the another page, don't forget that. Okay, so it is enabled the view state for this page. Now, if I click on this view state, what will happen? It will give me the entire information, whatever is page has implemented. So my Visualforce page size is 1.54. 1.54. What is the limit of the each page size?
135
KB.
135 KB. If we hit more than 135 KB or if it is near to 135 KB, then you will see view state error. So view state is available when you write Apex colon form. If you don't write the Apex colon form, then the view state doesn't appear. It's gone here, right? So whereas this page has Apex colon form, right? It has Apex colon form. Now this is 2.02 KB. Now we have a state, internal, component tree, right? So everything, in case if I am calling the Apex controller, and Apex controller also, it will give how much size of the controller that it is giving the records, everything, right? We will see this view state error whenever we are doing the Apex controller, but here is the one. So from now onwards, this view state is enabled. So you can see each page. right? Whatever we have implemented, the each page, everything we can see. So let's take the, okay, let's take this. Let's click on preview. Let's pass the ID. Okay. Now this view state has 5.1 KB. So state, right? State, expression, internal componentry, everything is there. Right? In case Apex controller is returning some values here, it will show what are the values are returned by the Apex controller. Okay, so this is the view state. Any questions on the view state? Okay. So let's assume that once we have implemented the Visualforce, what are the places that I can use the Visualforce page? I can use the Visualforce page in tab. I can use in the button. I can use it in the link. I can use the Visualforce page in page layout. I can use in action. I can use in object manager. So tab, I can create specifically for the Visualforce page tab. I can implement a button for the Visualforce page, and I can implement a link for the Visualforce page, and I can implement a page layout. Okay, within the page layout, I can place a Visualforce page, and also I can implement an action. I can implement action for the Visualforce page and object manager. Whenever we are creating the object, and in the object manager also we can place the Visualforce page. Now we will see this how to use it tomorrow. Any questions till now, whatever we have discussed?
Page
Any
layout
question?
and action is related to Aura, right?
Sorry?
Like we are placing a component in Aura for, like, as you said, action and other part.
So action, yeah, that's what we will see each one of them, how to place the Visualforce page in action, in page layout, in object manager, in tab, and in different places, how to place it. Link, we will see that how to use that.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, any questions before I go on? Okay, so what did we learn so far?
Select list, select checkbox, select button, select option.
Select
iframe.
list,
Select radio
option.
button. Select radio button. Radio.
Select
Checkboxes.
iframe.
Iframe.
Select
View state.
view state.
And then enable view state and Visualforce use state.
Visualforce USD.
So these are the one which we have seen today. Okay, so let's move on to the question. Which Visualforce tag supports multiple value selection at a time?
Select checkbox.
Checkboxes.
Checkboxes.
And
SelectOption.
Select option.
Select list.
Box.
List.
SelectOption.
List and checkboxes.
Select list. Select checkbox.
select list and select checkboxes.
Checkbox.
Why the option is coming? Option is only, select option is only to display the value. It doesn't play any role. How to display external web resources inside a Visualforce page?
Iframe.
Using iframe.
Using iframe.
Iframe.
How to enable development mode for Visualforce page? And
Click
what
on
is the
avatar
use of-
settings.
My personal
Personal
information,
information,
personal
advanced
information,
Advanced user
development
settings.
mode.
edit or show view state development mode.
Right. So Visualforce page allows use to add the code on same page instead of switching to the developer console. So that is what is the use of it. So how do we enable it? We have an option called development mode. So if you select that, we can able to write the code in the same page. What is view state in Visualforce page?
To size and state.
Size of the
Holds the
page.
state,
Holds the
size of the
size and
Visualforce
state of your
page.
page.
Holds the state and size of the Visualforce page. That includes the component field, values, and controller state also. And how do we see view state error in Visualforce page?
When the page have more than one.
By using form.
By using
Text form.
135 KB.
So when it is exceeds 135 KB, then we will see the on-page view state error. So how to reduce the view state errors?
Minimize the number of
Instead
of
forms
command
on
link
page.
and command button, use the output line.
Minimize the number of forms.
Number of
Check the
forms.
command link,
and
command button.
instead of the command buttons, we use output link.
Reduce the number of records displayed on the page, on single page. Okay, so this is the homework. So implement a Visualforce page with following fields: enter first number, second number, and add choices here. Select your choice. Add, subtract, multiplication, divide, and there is a calculate button, and below that the result is. Okay, and the second one is implement a Visualforce page with following fields. These are the input fields: enter first number, enter second number, enter third number, select your choice, which is vertical. The radio option is in the vertical. Calculate button, the result is.
For this, basically we need to use output label, and in that we need to use input text, right?
Input text, yes, we have to use it. Yes, output label.
Okay.
Implement a Visualforce page to fit yesterday's Visualforce page in iframe. So yesterday's assignment, the tab 1, tab 2, tab 3, tab 4, tab 5, there are 5 tabs which we have. I gave the assignment to implement it. So whatever the tabs you have implemented, place that into the iframe. And below the iframe, there should be a link. By clicking on that link, it should open the trailhead page on next tab. So that means you will have an iframe like this. And below this, there is a text, which is a hyperlink text here. Assume that here. Click here to open trailhead. Click here to open trailhead. This is the line. So by clicking on this line should display below the iframe. Okay, the next one is create a new tab. Okay, this is not discussed. Okay, these are the trailheads. Are you guys doing the trailheads or not? Are you guys doing the trailheads? So it has multiple here, which is talking about a start with a Visualforce, how to create, edit Visualforce pages. What are the simple variables and formulas, standard controller, how to use the standard controller, how to display the record fields and tables, input data using the forms, apex colon form, standard list controller, static resource, create, use. This is, you can leave it custom controller, but if you are able to understand, go ahead and do it. So this is the Visualforce basic. And the other one is so creating the basic Visualforce page, how to add a standard controller to the page, how to add a form to the Visualforce page. That's what we have discussed. So you can complete this easily. That's all for our session today. Any questions? And next session, after discussing about the Visualforce used in, we will be starting the Apex, the basic OOPS concept, we will be starting it. That is the Apex OOPS concept. We are done with the session. If there are no questions, thank you.